What does love mean to you?
Oh man. So my father always told me, love is an action. Love is an action. It's not. It's not. It's more than just a feeling. It's the action. It's the things you do for somebody. It's why you do it, how you do it. It's action. But what does love mean to me? I mean, love means everything. Love conquers all. You can't have anything without love. Wars is fight over it. Battles, everything is over love. Almost everything is over love and money. So to me, love is everything. Love is the reason you wake up in the morning and you have something to do something for somebody. Love is the reason love is the reason why I'm smiling so hard because I'm thinking about somebody. That's love. There isn't just one definition. You know, everybody has their own definition of love, but I feel like everybody feels the same. Like love is everything.
On an everyday basis, our ubiquitous generation sifts through endless streams of information only to ignore the words printed on pages in an effort to come up with their own phrases and find meaning in strange places. It's only human for us to manufacture feelings and assign them to familiar faces, and feel a strong inclination to seek admiration from those that hate us. I noticed that we fetishize our own desensitization and romanticize what makes us anxious. But even with that being said, we are far from hopeless. We just started being way more cautious, and sometimes it's difficult to find a balance between being careful and being heartless. Regardless, we still strive to obtain love even when we haven't yet cultivated it within ourselves. We normalize terms like self-care and mental health, yet willingly indulge in toxic dynamics that only further distort our sense of self. Most of the time, we don't even allow ourselves to properly process what we honestly feel because of the universal appeal of being independent, as if being dependent is somehow indicative to weakness and hasn't been a trait that we have had since the beginning of our existence. I always grapple with the fact that even Adam felt lonely in the Garden of Eden. To this day, we feel compelled to rationalize and come up with reasons as if we're obligated to validate and justify the existence of our own feelings. All of these defense mechanisms are essentially just social partitions that depreciate the state of our conversations, especially since the walls we put up to protect ourselves only put us in poor positions to honestly talk and listen. And I think that one of the drawbacks of our generation is that because we are privy to limitless information, we truly lack the patience to see past the immediacy of the present. Naturally, longevity comes with long-term investment, and we usually acquiesce once progress doesn't immediately happen. We want instant validation, but when it comes down to relationships, it takes time and effort to cultivate a lasting connection with anybody. Eventually, out of a mutual reluctance to put in the work to find love, we get naughty and emotionally sloppy, and fail to focus on the content of one's character, and instead we obsess over each other's bodies. A lot of us have prioritized emotional unavailability in an effort to selfishly reap everything that we want sexually, especially since the frames of monogamy imposes limits upon all of the possibilities. But then again, it recently occurred to me that the traditional allure of monogamous relationships is starting to crumble underneath the weight of modernity. A lot of the dynamics cultivated today personally circumvent conventions and are starting to be implemented despite the fact that they are different. Ironically enough, the suppression of the concept of dating has also sensationalized its appeal. Most of the same people who look down on conventional relationships are the same ones who want it but won't settle for it unless they feel as though it is quote-unquote real. I find it so interesting how we want the love, the affection, the sex, the sense of stability, but don't want the obligations that come with any of it. People today will literally text you, call you, and talk to you, and even make love to you as if you're the only person in this world, but will still be afraid to commit. We're so afraid and scared of the potential heartbreak and the notion of possibly wasting our time that we decline opportunities that could have warmed up our hearts and expanded the parameters of our minds. However, I understand that many may not be ready to cope with the anxiety that comes with putting their hearts on the line. A lot of us aren't even mature enough to set boundaries or are even at the point where we know what we really want half of the time. In most instances, we are lost in the confluence of this world and are aimlessly trying to find ourselves. And in the process, we attempt to create meaning in our own lives by attaching our sense of worth to our relationship with someone else. But after thinking about it, I understand that that's such an easy thing for me to say, especially since I don't know about the tribulations that others have to fight to keep at bay. All I know is that even I get tired after having to fight against my own demons every day. I mean, there are so many things that I'm still trying to process from my own childhood that only contradict my growth with an underlying decay.
Decay.
Throughout the course of my life, it's always been stressed to me that I am a descendant of bad decisions. To me, my biological parents are still nothing but figments. Obviously, I didn't mean to be born unwanted. As a matter of fact, that's probably why I've always felt unwanted. Even to this day, I just want to feel wanted, so when I initially learned about the concept of love, I began to want it more than anything because I believe that if I had it, then I had everything. I've always had dreams detailing the inevitability of a wedding ring, but the crazy thing about all of that is how mature that dream became the more I began to change. And I believe that that vision has finally become fully realized whenever I look into the depths of her crystal-like blue eyes. Because when she looks back into mine, I finally feel seen and truly acknowledged not only as a man, but also as a human being. I mean, when she talks with me, I finally feel heard. It's like she pays attention to every single word and gives what matters the attention that I've always felt that I deserved. When she touches me, I feel intangible to the rest of the world because I'm hers and hers only. To be completely honest, I haven't felt lonely since the first time we hung out and always look forward to the next time she'll hold me. Even though I don't have much, I feel like I have everything because I have her. I'm aware of how the intensity of this newfound infatuation has me dreaming about a happily ever after. And I admit, it is interesting how life can be so disappointing at times that any positive developments suspiciously appear way too good to be true. After months of shooting nothing but bricks and getting all of my efforts declined, I find myself still surprised by the fact that she actually likes me too. And I won't lie and say that I wasn't initially hesitant because of my fear of the cultural divide and the reaction that our relationship might incur from my people who may feel like I jumped ship or switched to the other side. But honestly, it is what it is. I don't feel the need to defend my love life because at the end of the day, this is the life that I live. I found someone special who wants to give me everything that I've always felt that I deserved. Thus far, we've been able to be completely honest and vulnerable with one another because we both understand the power of our words. We don't feel the need to cultivate alluring facades or lie about the things that we do and don't like, because after all of the failed attempts and the unreciprocated efforts, we want to do this right. That has to be why she appears to be like a dream to me, because reality is so duplicitous and ill-intentioned that it seems to be out to drain me of all of my energy, But the thing about her is that she has this ability to remedy all of the infirmities that, if left untreated, would probably be killing me slowly, and the degradation wouldn't be apparent visually, because internally my spirit was honestly dying, and I was starting to gradually lose my grasp over who I was. But right now, I feel hopeful once again, knowing that she's in my life not only as my loving partner, but more so as a supportive friend. I've been looking for her for so long I didn't even know. And I can't wait to see what we accomplish together the more that we grow. But if you were like me, looking for love in a world that preaches about it but rarely gives it, I want to encourage you not to allow your past relationships and the many false starts to dare corrupt your spirit like it almost did mine. It's very cliche to say that all good things take time, but they honestly do in most cases. For me, all it took was one good day to commence the beginning of something new after spending months swiping through faces. But if you're serious about dating, one prerequisite is that you need to cultivate self-love. And I understand that loving oneself is an everyday struggle, but you need to know that you are enough. And I'm not saying that it's okay to be complacent and that there are no areas in your life that you need to improve. But rather, I'm trying to say that you need to be aware of the fact that you deserve love, and once you understand that, it'll change how you move. Once I did, I made a concerted effort to be honest about what I want, even though it put me in many vulnerable positions. If I thought someone was attractive, I straight up asked them out and took it on the chin whenever I faced rejection. In the process, I made my intentions very clear so that there wouldn't be any confusion down the line. Because honestly, what's the point in playing the long game just for it to end up being a massive disappointment and a waste of time? And I encourage you to do the same, because that aforementioned honesty is the reason why my life has recently changed. Your boy shot his shot and it swished. And the more you practice, when the time comes, the less likely you are to miss. So if there's somebody out there that you are feeling, let them know. Work through your fear and ask for their number. Slide in their DMs or call them right now, because the longer you wait, the more likely you're going to have to let them go, because somebody else is already willing to do what you want. If you're letting your insecurity stop you from going for what you want, don't. You really never know unless you try. And that stranger or that friend could possibly end up being the love of your life. What does love mean to you?
Love is acceptance, just wholehearted acceptance, and just caring for someone so deeply that you care about them a little more than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Love means a balance between selflessness and selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like love is a balance between the two. It's not just being completely selfless, and it's not just being completely selfless.
Okay.
Should I elaborate?